The following show contains a fictional narrative that includes themes, events, and language that some may find distressing. Discretion is advised.
Welcome to This Line Isn't Secure. I'm Libby, and I am currently married to this Pontiac Grand Fiero 1987 in 3 states. It's very, very good to see all of you tonight, and my gorgeous wife here. Let me get some introductions from the crew of people that aren't cars but still look all right.
Hi, I'm Ty. My marriage to Libby was supposed to be a secret, and stop calling me a Pontiac Grand Fiero. I play Deputy Marshal Reed Hollis.
Hey guys, Charlie playing Adam Blackburn, aka Agent Meridian. Part-time emo, full-time gun-toting maniac.
Nice, dude.
Accurate.
That's good.
Hey y'all, I'm Andy, and I'm playing former FBI forensic psychiatrist Alexander Shoemaker, current professor of forensic psychiatry, possibly dead and resurrected. Goes by Agent Merchant in these types and is currently wearing some exceptional yellow pajamas.
And I am your dear friend Hawk. I play Agent Miranda, aka Heather Stoddard, she's just married to the grind, married to the numbers, married to her gig, She's on that 24/7 grind set, making big money moves. By which I mean sort of staring blankly at people as they try to explain to her what the fuck is going on, and she just kind of goes, "That's also bullshit," is the thing. That's also inconsistent bullshit. So we'll see if she continues to be a petulant child today, or if, anything improves.
Thanks, Hawk. And as my ex-wife's boyfriend, Ty, would say, Hawk, give us the recap.
Previously, on This Line Isn't Secure, not a thing I've ever said before, maybe never will again, the M-Cell met with a gentleman calling himself King Bale. He was wearing a crown made of tongue depressors and lozenges and old foil. There's a torn away vent on the wall in a room full of soggy, beaten up, battered stacks of books. He has a magisterial, kingly bearing to go with his crown. And, even if you don't like him, you have to admit, he can pull it off. But he comes in, and on his introduction, Ed Wist pulls one of those party poppers and sends confetti everywhere. They'll congratulated Ed, sent him out, and we heard dozens of locks turning on the door that we hadn't seen as we'd come in. Bale sits and motions for us to take seats on stools, stacks of books. Asks each of us if we want tea or coffee. Meridian says no, the others partake. Bale's put together, muscular, would be a vet if he was a real person, but there's no indication either way. Talk to us about a place called Carcosa, about how it's ever present, sometimes more present. There are places where it's closer. And how the king, this king who has been the subject of so many stories and so much pain and agony in our story, is not a person really, but a role of some kind. Millstone's response, of course, was about becoming that king. Bale starts crying. Edwis comes in, mentioning his queue with a box of tissues. And Bale tells us is that the thing that hangs over his head is that the more people look into Carcosa, the more humanity hunts for it, the more Carcosa uses humanity to spread. So Millstone, always practical, asked what the right thing to do was. Bale didn't have an answer right off the bat. Instead, he filled up our drinks, offered each of us our vices, release, normalcy, sleeping pills for Merchant, recollections of past conquests for Miranda, fire and gin for Millstone, and a knife offered but first to Meridian, who has scars lining his torso, symbols carved into the flesh reminiscent of an object from his past that none of us have seen. Millstone and Meridian indulged, but Merchant resisted, insisting he'll never be normal, and Miranda refused, too pissed at Bale and at this whole situation to take comfort in anything at the moment. Millstone, on Bale's instruction, pulls open the book he was sitting on and finds an object inside, tucking it into his pocket without sharing it with anyone. Miranda, I asked Bale what Carcosa hated. He says it has its antithesis. There's something, but he doesn't know what it is. It exists because it doesn't. It must. Circular logic, endless repetitions. Carcosa exists because it exists, because it must exist, because it will exist, because it has, because it does, with no bottom to the arguments. Brief conversation about Melonia before Miranda, pissed, frustrated, left, went to play ping pong with Miss Carver in the halls of the Dorchester. Millstone, frustrated, asks if there's anyone who can explain the situation less pretentiously. Bale says no. Millstone is interrupted by his phone ringing, picks it up and hears a sound of Barbas's head being caved in with a typewriter. And Reed feels a deep sense of certainty, acknowledging that he has to, final or not, as Merchant has been told, he'll live. Millstone feels like he has to kill Merchant. Merchant is given a few more secrets and wisdom by Bale, not shared with the rest of the group exactly, before he's told we are being led to make our exit. Bale leads us through the Dorchester, gathering Miranda from where she was in the midst of another frustration, a game of ping pong with Ms. Carver. And Bale leads us to a performance space, a place where an audience is gathered to watch us make our exit from the show as the show. At least, that's how I remember it.
When last we spoke, the group was led out of Bale's room, Bale's office, and was kind of told, "Follow me. It's time to go," or something like that. All of you are pretty sure that in following Bale, you are going to get as close as you can be to whatever out could mean. So as Bale brings you deeper into the Dorchester, you kind of realize quickly that the corridors of the hospital are falling away and shedding, almost like it feels like molting, like shedding skin in layers and revealing a much older and grander, just really a very, very disgusting beneath. You're going below as much as directions of that variety can mean in the world we all live in, I guess, or the King's world. You've got these fluorescent lights that are really dim and buzzing, the classic sound that really gets into your ears and lives there for a bit, makes you feel a little bit nauseous and like you shouldn't be here. But they're here and they're bright. You've got these odd scalloped glass fixtures that are throwing these odd amber, these kind of odd amber rays across this old red, like crimson rug or crimson shag carpet. The walls of the institution you were in are cracking and peeling over time, and you're getting this glint-edged wallpaper. A lot of intricate patterns that are seeming to shift and seeming to be the way that they are and are not when you don't look at them. And you, after maybe I would say, an hour or 5 minutes, you're not sure, a lifetime, you begin to see the things that you would see if you were going into a theater. You begin to see the Greek theater masks leering on these doorways. Their hollow eyes are watching you as you walk through their space, their living quarters. You've got the comedy and the tragedy, but obviously their expressions are just not the way they should be. Maybe they mean more to you or less to you. Maybe you're identifying much more than tragedy and comedy and these grimaces or these facial expressions. But certainly they are grinning with many too many teeth. The air is growing palpably thicker, and the old velvet smell and the kind of grease paint and the coppery scent is all kind of assailing your olfactories right now. You are more and more kind of being swallowed by the carpet as your footfalls kind of become quieter and quieter, and you realize that you wouldn't know if someone was following you right now. You wouldn't know if you were being watched, and so Maybe some of you do it more pronounced than others, but I would imagine all of you at least look back once. And each of you see what you expected to see behind you. Everything and nothing. The hall is going on far and wide, and this definitely has McAllister vibes. But I want to differentiate so far to say that it is much grander. It feels much more like, I don't know, like an inn or a hotel. Who knows? As you continue to move on, you not only are getting the sensory through the schnoz, this very odd smell. You are also hearing this odd kind of roar, this odd slowly building sense of movement or like a breeze, perhaps. It feels like something large is happening in a group. Many people are joining together to share their content, and you realize at that time that it's applause. And perhaps maybe it's not content, perhaps maybe it is instead, I don't know. What do you think? Fear, I guess. Yeah. You also get the tuning of instruments. The orchestra is getting ready to put on the best show of their lives, or something like that. But it sounds like those instruments haven't been played in decades. It sounds like there are children laughing, or maybe they're gasping for breath. You kind of refocus on Bale, as he seems to be the only thing that is constant here. You definitely notice that he has this certainty that he certainly shouldn't have. He has that thing that, maybe you have all keyed in on, our listeners have keyed in on, that I've asked before. Where do you want to go? You get the feeling that Bale knows exactly where he wants to go, and he's going there. And that is both scary and, I guess, in some way comforting. He is able to understand as you pass by rooms that have these huge vistaed ballrooms or libraries where books are bleeding, all these crazy things, these sensory experiences you're seeing as doors and windows are open past you in ways they shouldn't be, but Bale really isn't looking into them. He isn't confused or allowing himself to be concerned with anything that's not what he promised you or what his word is to you. And so then, as those of you maybe who have had a little bit more of the king's presence put upon you, as you're walking down this hallway, you even begin to see these weird shadows, almost like spectral shadows that are issuing from Bale. It's almost like searchlights in a fog, a huge fog, and almost a crown seems to appear over time. This kind of translucent, weird, halo-y thing that's going on. And it kind of matches the crown he's wearing, except it's obviously much more pristine and much more regal, much more royal looking than the kind of impromptu paper clips and wire fashioned together that he had before. The hallway eventually does seem to narrow. The ceiling does eventually begin to drop. And then you hear the sound you've heard before. You hear that sound of the gong. The gong radiates deep, resonant, and you begin to feel that sound rush up your legs and into your chest. You feel it in your teeth. You feel like the marrow of your bones has chosen to become one with that same resonance. And
a flash of pink viscera and brain, just the disgusting caved-in head of Mark Rourke killed for the second time, and then back to reality, whatever that means for Reed.
Yeah,
and the word, just entire field of vision, Broadalbin Hotel.
Then you hear the applause, but it's much louder now, this muffled applause. And before you know that you're there, really, in fact, I would say that, maybe in the way that in some cartoons you kind of bumble into each other comically, because you didn't look where you were going, you kind of all bump and see that Bale has stopped moving now. And in front of you are those fun doors, the ones in kitchens, that will open and then close on their own, kind of swing closed on their own, common in some older theaters. They're there in front of you, and this little circular hole is on each of these double doors as well that you could look through if you wanted to. I guess, would any of you want to look through that circular hole and see what's inside, presumably the theater in front of you?
Absolutely.
Merchant will definitely look through.
Okay, so both Merchant and Miranda look through. Okay. Yeah, as you bring your head, or try to bring your heads up to the level of the that porthole in the door, Bale, forcefully is the wrong word, so I guess I'll just say he makes an effort to stop you, and I think that most likely is with his hand kind of on your chest. He says, and when he does this, he says, I don't think you're ready to see what is in there quite yet. But he's not gonna he is not gonna push you back or anything. He's just giving kind of gentle resistance enough to give you that message. If you want to keep trying to look, I would like to know.
Yep. So Merchant will look at him, just stare for a moment, and go back to the door, leaning in, reaching into his pocket. He pulls out the claw from the paper tiger he blew up, and just ever so subtly, but not hiding it like he has.
Yeah.
But ever so subtly, just puts the tip of the claw in his mouth and kind of gnaws a little.
Okay.
And leans in.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Perhaps a pacifier. So you are going to keep looking. Miranda, are you going to keep looking through that? You keep going, look through that porthole there in the door, or are you going to look away now?
No, why?
Nice.
Why would I distrust my good friend King Bale?
Oh, so you're not going to look. Nice. All right. Cool. All right. So then, Merchant, you peek your head up into that porthole, and you look out, and you see that there's definitely a stage in there. It's pretty intimate. It's pretty claustrophobic space. Not a lot. And the audience is full. That's full house. And you make out what you think are the features of people you have seen before, which is not a new idea here in the Impossible Landscapes of campaign material. However, you are pretty sure that you in fact see the back of Antoine's head, and it is sitting in the audience. I would say third row or so. But you know that shirt. You've seen that. You called it pink, but then he corrected you to salmon, and you know the way that his shoulders looked and the way that he cut his hair. I mean, all the things that really you remember. It seems to be him from all you can see.
It is him as I would have known him the last time I saw him, or back in the heyday of their relationship, before the McAllister, before all of this, when the photo was taken.
The same way that Antoine was when you were most in love with him and most impassioned in life with him. It is whatever that looks like to Merchant.
So he grips the door, barely able to stand.
Okay. Oh yeah. Bale comes to your aid and comes to your aid in a very respectful way, as respectful as you can catch another human kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't say I told you so, but he might as well have. He really lets that silence breathe and speak its own words.
What's he doing here?
Go ahead and roll stand for me there, Merchant, on the Antoine sighting.
21 under 43.
Nice. Very well. In that case, you lose 1 sanity. You are the one, unfortunately, that the king has touched the most, and so he, it seems, is using you in something from your past that you are most strongly tied to, something you wish you could return to in an attempt to keep you here. That is not Antoine. That is a marionette. You shouldn't go with that marionette. You should come with me and your friends, but you may be tempted. Don't do it. You're not meant to stay here.
No, I don't want to stay here.
All right. And with that, he turns to kind of the whole group and sums you all up and just kind of says, when we go in there, don't ask any questions until it's all done. You're probably going to see people you know or have met, and that is an attempt to keep you, make you here. Don't give in, and once it's done, and you'll know when it's done, you have to move quickly. I'll try to answer your questions as best I can, but we have to act when it's done. And then he turns, without giving you any time to really do much but breathe and follow, and opens up the door. It squeaks in a way that almost seems like it's mocking you. Maybe a little laughter as you walk down the aisle of this very intimate yet very, very, it's claustrophobic again, but it is very grand in nature. It feels like much has happened here and much still will. And so Bale ushering you forward, you do see this stark white light bathing the stage, and it really doesn't seem to come from anywhere. If you look up to the rafters, there seems to be no catwalks up there, no rigging. It seems like there's just light issuing from up there. Then you feel, for those of you who hadn't seen the audience, you feel the presence incorporeal as it may be, of the audience there. You feel the weight of the eyes watching. You feel the held breath of the audience as their clapping and their applause has drawn, to a respectful, minimum. And you're not sure if it's because you've entered an intermission or if you have entered and are signaling, in fact, the beginning of another act. Certainly, when you look at their faces, or if you were to take the time to try to look at them and see, you see people you know. You see Manuel, you see Karun, you see, Top Chick is there, you see Sunshine there, you see Miss Carver there, you see Barbas there. In fact, you think that even maybe in the corner there is a grand clock that's watching all this too. You're not sure, but it certainly sounds like it. Yeah, right.
I'll get 'em spatulas.
Yeah, yeah. 18 spatulas. And because of all that, perhaps you feel a little bit important. I'm not sure. But their faces all kind of resolve with this horrible clarity as you walk down the aisle. At the end of the aisle, there are, of course, 5 front row seats there. And while they're not labeled, you know which one's yours, and you take your seat as Bale kind of points them out to you. You see many people you know. Many. Charles Lindeen. You see someone who looks like Abigail Wright's family, probably. Very, very same facial features. Folks that you think you should know, but perhaps you haven't met yet or won't meet or will meet. Very, very interesting to see so many people here. In fact, if you were to say, do you see more people that you know or that you don't know, you would say that you know. The majority is folks that you know from personal life and from your gallivanting within this landscape that might be possible. After taking your seats, you hear the music swelling, as you knew it would, as it always does. The orchestra begins building to something that sounds like triumph or terror or both. And then that stops. Silence. It's just very perfect and complete. You sit there and the lights begin to go out, and then they die. They eventually die out. And unlike what many of you will do someday, apparently, I guess, or much like you will do, I'm not sure. Who knows? But for that moment floating in absolute darkness, you don't really know if you've always been here. You really seriously consider if you have been. You consider if there really ever was anything else. You consider that if, maybe the world outside this theater never really existed. And does existence really mean anything to me? All these very nice, deep philosophical thoughts that you maybe notice, I have time to think philosophically. Is that good or bad? And then Bale whispers, Bale says, okay, it's starting. Be quiet and watch. And then the gong again. It pounds. You feel as though as the lights come up with it that the boards of the stage, the wooden boards, are shaking in their footings, and the nails themselves are just kind of doing a little dance as the gong once again radiates all the way up the raked audience and into the doors. Maybe they squeak a little bit more. The stage now is empty. Lights are bright on it, and then from stage right, it enters, and you see a child, but really, you realize pretty quick that it's just something that's child-sized. It's got the Harlequin outfit. It's got the yellow and the red and the blue triangles again, and looking at them is painful. Like it is harmful overtly to look at these colors and the way that they exist. And it's like they exist kind of at frequencies that your eyes weren't really meant to perceive. And I mean, like, I think I'm happy to say this is the yellow sign, but none of you really feel the need to share the way that this hurts, because you know that you are all sharing in the moment more than you ever have before. You are witnessing maybe the inception of the yellow sign, whatever that is. You are viewing true chaos, but with the grace and gentle repose that you would expect of perhaps a ballerina or somebody dancing that is quite young. It does, whether a child or not. The child begins to dance. You see the mask now over its head, this porcelain white color with a painted smile and those geometric teeth that are coming through, impossible patterns, the black eye slits, just totally depthless and devoid. You're not sure if something is looking out from behind them or if there's nothing there at all. And as the music joins the dancing, the orchestra is now playing this beautiful tune that you've definitely heard before. Rachmaninoff perhaps, or some Tchaikovsky, something very, very nice, and you're familiar enough with it. Many of us don't know what the name of a classical piece is, but we've heard a lot of them, and so the rhythm begins to issue, and it hits you in such a way that you realize yet again it's not as it should be, not quite like violins or like cellos or like drums. It's being played as a funeral dirge. It's being played as a lullaby, the end to a day, looping and repeating and building, and the same phrase is just kind of going over and over and over again with these kind of variations, and the words are different and worse each time.
Oh my God. And those words, Reed can hear them because he's heard them before. He heard them at Washington Square Park in 1995, whatever the fuck that means. Ecce signum regnus. Behold, the sign of the king.
Miranda's hand tightens on Merchant's wrist from where they're standing in the aisle as they move to the seats, and she almost hisses in his ear. The theater, difficult and cruel, first of all. Not the cruelty of hacking each other's bodies, but the much more terrible and necessary cruelty things can exercise against us, Merchant. We are not free. The sky can still fall on our heads, and the theater, Merchant, the theater was created to teach us that first of all. He knew.
Merchant looks directly into Miranda's eyes, grins just a little bit, and said, I tried to tell you. And slides the paper claw back into his pocket of his yellow pajamas.
And at that time, you realize that the thing you would probably say is the most accurate or fitting description of this being is a clown. It's got the precise mechanical thing that you saw, when you glimpsed it. Many times, frankly, but in Washington Square Park was one of those times. And even though it is this mechanical, consistent, very, very detailed movements, it's also jerky and stuttering, and it's film frames skipping. And, the poses are held too long at one point or another, and the arm extensions and the way that the angle, all of it seems just really very extra normal. All of it feels as though it's meant to be natural, and all of it is not. All of it is the antithesis of something formed, organically. It is yet again anarchy on display. And it reaches off stage for a moment, grabs what you see now is this paper white dragon. It's so intricate, impossibly delicate, and the dragon that you've seen before, this same very, very impressive modeled paper dragon is unfurling behind it as it dances like a ribbon, like a banner, like a prayer flag made of origami and grief. And as the clown is dancing, it's got these patterns in the air with the paper dragon. And let's have all of you make an alertness roll, please. Do some alertnessing. I want to see if you can see the thing.
65 under 70.
16 under 80.
54 under 63.
93 over 43.
Nice. Perhaps enraptured by your own thoughts melding with what's happening on stage. Who knows? The other three of you, you do notice that there is thin red mist. I mean, like aerosol fine, like very, very, very thin mist creeping up from the seats behind you. You see it kind of issuing over your ankles, and it's like rising like bloody steam. The mist is kind of, it seems like it's almost being like the mist is being enchanted by the dancing. Like it seems like it's moving toward the stage, and the paper dragon is cutting through it in such a way. And then the mist just goes away. The mist vanishes once it hits that dragon. It seems like the dragon consumed it, absorbed it, became one with it, or or it's kind of folded into the patterns that you already have stopped trying to understand. You realize in that moment, and I think perhaps goosebumps, join you. The clown is just kind of dancing the world into being, or out of being. You're not really sure which is happening. but it feels like this is the genesis, or the end. The music swells, but this time the crescendo is much broader, much signaling. You really feel like we have reached the grand finale, and when that swell finishes, that's it. The stage then, is empty. You're not sure when the clown, child, dragon, when it all left the stage, but they're gone, and the lights dim as they would. Bale reaches across as he did before, and says, "It's done. We have to go. Come on, quickly." And you feel him move. He stands up, and he basically runs across the area just in front of the stage, and on the stage you hear his little feet kind of padding on the wooden stage, and I'm assuming none of you are gonna have any. I'm gonna stick around here. So I won't ask. I'm pretty sure all of us are following. And as you get up and you do, whether you glance or stare, you can tell that the audience is empty now. But you didn't need to look. Like you knew. As soon as it stopped, you knew that it was all for you, and not for anybody else. There's nothing. Seems like a memory. And so Bale,
Reed, in that moment, is reminded of a record player sitting on the ground in Washington Square Park, and he looks back at it expecting to see a record there, but the record is gone, but it's still spinning. That's just what happens. Doesn't have any bearing on events. It's just what he's reminded of.
Yeah. You see him on stage, and he's staring at you to join quickly. And so you do. You all kind of make your way up the little side stairs and get up on stage, and the lights come on. The house lights come on. They're dim, but they're enough to see. Much like perhaps a scene change. They're up a little bit. And on stage right, you all see what Bale is staring at, which is the clown, kind of sprawled out like it's a broken doll, but it's smaller. It's like infant-sized clown now. The Harlequin outfit is just kind of pooling around it as if it, maybe drowned in the outfit. And next to it, now impossibly large in comparison, is the paper dragon, which is all but glowing in the dark. I mean, it's just the luminescence is unbelievable from where you are. Bale, as soon as you get on the stage and you see where he's looking, he darts for the dragon, and he drags the dragon center stage from the wing and rips it open with little to no care. Rips it open, rends it, and reaches inside, and you see there's a thermos-sized glass container, much like a bank tube, as I said before. Which to be just a quick aside, that is the reason I go to the Walmart pharmacies, for the fucking pneumatic tubes, baby. That's some cool shit. They're always cool.
I don't remember ever discarding the one that I had on me.
Yeah, I don't remember you discarding it either. And do you want to look or see if you have it in your in your pocket?
I kind of do.
Okay.
I kind of do want to see that.
Yeah, you look around yourself and you go to the pocket wherever it was held. And you just find that you cut your hands on shards of glass.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nice. Yeah, no. Very cool. Yeah. Punished. All right. Sorry.
You're
So
like, shut the fuck up, dude. I'm trying to do something here.
Yeah.
while it's being torn open,
Yeah.
Merchant, not having a piece anymore, will reach over and grab a piece of the paper, just nonchalantly, not to draw attention to himself, and pop it right in his mouth.
Nice. Great. Yeah. Awesome. You feel emboldened. You feel bolstered. Yeah. Very well. Yeah. So he's got this thermos-sized glass container. You've seen that before. But there's liquid inside of it. The same kind of red, old, bloody, rusty color that you had seen before. He unscrews it, and the smell just kind of hits you immediately. You get that like ashes and copper. Just something sweet has rotted quickly. And he looks at each of you in turn, and again, you glance the halo for a moment as he does so. Maybe a trick of the lights being so dim, and he says, "The Patsu is the way out." And without anything else, he drinks it, one swallow, quick and decisive, and then hands it to Merchant. And then he's not there anymore. And he's not there in the kind of way that you believe to your core means he is better. He is somewhere better. And while you may not know what is real bad, up, down, awkward, or sideways, you certainly know better. You, in looking down briefly at that canister, you see inside that the Patsu, which I'm now comfortable telling everybody, spoiler alert, that's Patsu in there. The Patsu in there is heavier than it should be. It feels warm. It really feels like it's just kind of alive and it has body temperature. And as you watch, the Patsu is doing this fun thing that magicians do sometimes, where they'll make a liquid magically disappear and then reappear in the same glass. But it's doing so in a way that makes you believe it's kind of the rhythm of breathing. There's Patsu in the the thermos and the container.
Tidal.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yes, good word. Yes, it's there and then sucked out and then back again and then sucked out again. With some amount of regularity. You doubt that it would be the kind of thing that would run a watch on time, but it is coming and going, with some amount of regularity, and some metered frequency. And it's just kind of vanishing. Like I say, it's not like, oh, it's a trick. It really, who knows, right? Like, it may be a trick, but fuck all that. It's most likely going away and then coming back again. And when it does that, it grows lighter and then heavier. Like, it takes on a more like a life storing feeling when it's got that Patsu inside of it. Okay. And then you maybe take a second to wonder, where is out? Where did Bale go? In the amount of seconds that you've had to consider this weird breathing liquid, you probably have the time to consider that maybe it isn't better out. Maybe out is where you really never want to go again. Like, is out the McAllister or like the Dorchester again? Is it whatever fucked up world is next? You don't know. Maybe you're not convinced that it's better anymore. I don't know.
I think what Reed would be considering in that moment is, when he sees that liquid coming back from being out, does it look like it's been somewhere that's more still or somewhere that's more frenetic? Does it look like it's been closer to the center of the spindle? Or does it look like it's been to the circumference? Does it look like it's the center of the record player? Or does it look like it's the edge of the record having a fresh needle dropped on it every time it comes back?
Yeah. I think the best way to describe it is that you feel as though it is, when it's here, it means something and it's meaningful. And when it's gone, it's nothing. When it's gone, it hasn't mattered, or it won't matter. And then it comes back and it matters now. It is relevant. It is something that someone ought to care about. It is with us. It is palpable and tangible, a connection, a grapple point. It's really, and then it's gone, and then it's nothing. And then, after you feel that for a moment, then you begin to wonder whether it's opposites day again. Is something the thing you want to feel? Do you want nothing? Bale said that the way out is through that. So is it better that it's something? Is it better that it's tethered? Or is it worse that nothing is maybe what you should want?
So Merchant's holding this container and staring directly at Meridian now. He hands it to Millstone, saying nothing.
Okay, got it. Did you just hand it right to him? Okay.
Not consuming any of it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. At about that moment, at about the time you've had to percolate and to ruminate a bit on the surroundings of the place you are or are not, something in the wings moves. The curtain ruffles a little bit. You know how it is, even if your back was turned to it. You feel it move before you even saw so, and then you look, and the clown now is it's like a marionette jerked up by invisible strings. The head just very slowly cocks to the side. You see and hear the porcelain of that cranium cracking as it bends and moves around in such a way that it should not. It tilts to one side, and in that moment, you realize that probably, you know what? I bet that the best way to describe that feeling is exactly how I think Meridian felt when a damn clock was about to go Street Fighter with him. It's really the moment of like, oh fuck, and it's shuffling now. It's moving. Its little marionette shuffle is looking at Millstone, but it's looming too. Yeah, it's got this imposing thing about it, the vibe that it's only a matter of time before its size matches that impending doom. And it's just filling all the space. The shadows are too odd. You've heard it all before, and it's not getting better that you've experienced this. It's getting worse. And then you realize that it's not metaphorical. It just grew about 1 meter. And then it grew another 2 meters. And with each step, the Harlequin outfit expands with the size of the clown. 4 meters now, 5, 6. The mask, the porcelain white, terrible mask is just... You see the teeth now. They are now big enough to be visible to you, and they are spreading like a disease, like a cancer among its mouth.
Right before that, Merchant had passed the Patsu over to Millstone, looking to Meridian with that knowing, like, I don't know if I'm going to make it out of this. But now, with an urge to survive, turns toward Millstone and kind of pushes his hand on top of Millstone's and just squeezes it tight to make sure that Millstone's holding the Patsu. Gives him 1 second of kind of a sad, knowing smile and darts for the door. I rolled a 27 under 30 for athletics.
Wow. Okay. Very well. So you kind of gather that the clown is... almost like it's dancing towards you. It's got this kind of weird grace about it that I mentioned before, kind of Way of the Drunken Master kind of thing. Very, very technical, but also very, very overblown. Very, very playing at a character clown. It does not get to you. It kind of like slips a little bit on its footing, and as it's growing in size, maybe it's not matching the size of its muscles? ? So it does not get to you, and you dart through the door. And let's go next here to Millstone. Millstone, you got the Patsu. What are you doing?
Well, he's making a roll for athletics.
Seems great.
Or dodge, both of which are 50, and he rolls a 42. Reed looks down. He kind of, as he begins to run, a bit of the Patsu sort of like slosh. It breathes into the cup, and in the same kind of like moment of momentum of it sloshing back into reality, it sloshes up and out and then back into the capsule. And as it does, the light, the dim stage lights reflecting into that shape that the liquid takes in that moment reflects the number 42. And Reed, in that moment, his impulse is to just drink it, and so he does go to drink the Patsu.
Okay. So how this works, players, you will roll luck, signifying whether the Patsu is on the exhale or inhale. I'm not sure which one is the good one, but we'll know when you roll luck.
Yeah, so this roll signifies the moment that Reed kind of moves his head forward and whether he can catch it in time.
Indeed.
And he rolls a 24.
Okay.
A 24.
That's
on.
unreal.
What?
Wow. There is a Jesus God. Oh. Very nice.
Oh.
The Lords of Chaos.
I've always suspected.
The king indeed smiles upon you in that moment. Go ahead and roll sand for me. So the rest of the group, except for merchants, I suppose it would just be Meridian and Miranda. You see that Reed does manage to get a swig of the Patsu. And now Reed, how was your sand roll?
It's a 67 under 49.
Over 67 over 49.
What'll it be? Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So you
6-7.
Okay. So you in fact lose 1 sand, and you realize all kind of at one time that you are going to go away now. You are no longer going to be around. And in that brief second, if you would like, you could try to pass the Patsu as the game goes. Pass the Patsu, as all of our listeners know about. Pass the Patsu. You play that game if you'd like to. That game involves a Dex ×5 roll, and if you fail that roll, likely that Patsu container, the Patsu pod, if you will, will end up positioned on the floor. Sorry.
Or
It was a whole alliteration thing. Thank you.
so plead flawless. He almost kind of mirroring that moment that he received the canister. He gives sort of a tragic look to Merchant, and then he holds out the canister to Miranda.
Okay, go ahead and roll Dex times 5. You do have to kind of toss it a little bit since you're all actively moving. So let's see if we can get it into Miranda's mittens.
That is a 61 over 50.
Apu.
You piece of shit.
You piece of shit is what Miranda probably says.
That is actually that was diegetic.
yeah, correct. Okay. So yeah, it is dropped. It gains the condition dropped, and is now on the floor, rolling around, still breathing in and out nicely. And without much more, Millstone really dissipates into a bunch of red mist, and is no longer with you, whatever that means. Maybe he died, maybe he didn't die. He's no longer with you now. And with that, it is certainly Meridian's turn. Meridian, you know what you have seen. The Patsu now lies on the floor. What would you like to do?
I will go and grab the bottle.
He gonna pick it up. Go ahead and roll athletics or dodge to see how well you do be dodging. And because you had picked up that canister, the clown gets a lead on you. Now gets a kind of a step in your direction that he would not have gotten if you had not taken the time to pick that up off the ground. What'd you roll for athletics or dodge?
74 under 80.
Whee! Very nice. Very, very nice. So yeah, you do manage to get somewhere, right? The clown, I guess let's see if the clown actually gets to you. He does not. Wow, I'm rolling real bad. Or real good, I guess. Who knows? He does not get to you. He is, I guess, still learning about his changing body. Yikes. And is definitely not able to touch you. You, I assume, since
Come on, man.
I didn't try it, I promise. You are able to follow a merchant out the door, and I assume you do so.
I do.
As I start to run, I want to drop a fly on him if I can. Like I want to pull one of the ropes as I'm running away and drop one of the flats on his head. Like,
Nice.
Yeah. I know about theater, you know?
Yeah, you get a little creative. That's cool. Yeah, very nice. Okay, nice. You remove the break and attempt to do that. So why don't you roll me the requisite athletics or dodge,
Athletics or dodge.
and then I would love to hear your arguments for what in the world throwing. I guess maybe dex. Like I don't know. Like
Well, I was hoping to roll art acting, frankly, but I totally understand if you want to say dex times.
Dude, if you don't let him do it, that's fucked.
So I think I have to.
DM.
I'm pretty sure I have to do that. I'm not a DM at all. I'm a GM.
You have to.
Okay,
Dungeon
15
Daddy.
under 33 for the athletics.
Lovely.
My art acting is 51. Let's see how that goes.
Rock and roll, baby.
That is a 36 under 51 to drop one of the flies on top of the pursuing clown.
Very nice. Do you, Hawk, know the name of any kind of fly? Like if you oh, it's a Jacobson fly, and you just do a little.
Not specifically.
Okay.
So there are like 3 major systems that I can think of that would drop on him. One of them is a sandbag, which is a counterweight, which is a classic but kind of lame. You can drop a whole fly, which is like a thin, like plywood painted wall, which would be pretty heavy. What I'm really hoping for is I want to drop a lighting rig on him, like a scaffolding with like big bulky lamps on it.
Nice.
Just crash down on him.
Very well, very well. Okay. So you managed to kind of dip dodge away. Meridian does have the Patsu and ran through the door, so you follow. And as you do, and he can't get you, he again is still kind of slipping on the ground. You flip that lever or break off, throw the rope in the direction you want, and it then all the momentum does the work for you. Instead of being lights like a lighting rig that you hoped it would be, it is instead a group of about 4 marionettes that have all kind of been jumbled together as they have fallen. They don't necessarily fall onto the clown, but they certainly fall on his path, and so perhaps it did leave a little bit of extra room for you and your compatriots to get out. So well done. Way to be creative. As you all break through the door of light, you're in a room, an old house, a pretty old house, and you look to your right, and this big, almost like bay garden window with old crown molding all around it, but very like technically precise and beautiful crown molding around it. The window is really that plate glass aquarium vibe, and beyond it, you see that there is a small man in a lavender suit, really well tailored, very perfectly pressed, and it's clearly Darabandi, the architect of the McAllister. He's standing in what you think may be a workshop, or maybe it's a studio or a fucking abattoir. It's really just hard to tell. Lights wrong, greenish, and also kind of this weird submarine thing going on. And around him, piled like cordwood or offerings or, maybe his mistakes. Children. Dead children. Drowned children. Their skin is like waterlogged and peeling off. Their hair is plastered to the loaded faces, and their eyes are just really milky and staring back at you. And there are dozens of them. Maybe more. Yeah. Small bodies in night clothes, swimsuits. Some of them are, in nothing at all. He sees you. Darabandi does. He sees you. And he begins to cry pretty fervently. Like he begins to kind of ugly bawl. But as he does, he just begins to applaud. And it's just it starts slow and deliberate, but by the time you realize the clown has broken through, it's risen to such great intentionality. In his mouth, you think he's saying something to you, and you're pretty sure he is saying, very good indeed. And at about that time, he yet again, now the I don't know, 14, 15 meter clown, unbelievably large clown that's just getting bigger. He's here now. He's back. Merchant, I would like you to do the thing. I'd like you to make an athletics or a dodge roll as this clown breaks through the door of light. And again, in front of you, you see there's, I would even say some stagehands that are pushing set pieces across and up and down. And now you see more ropes and pulleys kind of piled over. And there's a very small hatch in the floor. And that's where you got to go next.
Merchant will, again, wordlessly slide in, and for a guy who doesn't look like he's worked out a ton, kind of wiry, middle-aged guy, he's moving really well, having rolled a 21 under 30 this time.
Boy.
And is able to slide through that hatch, and like this place is his, like he's done this a billion times.
Meridian, it's now your turn. You know where to go. Do you want to try to drink the Patsu before or after
No.
you? Okay.
No.
Resounding.
I'm going to pass it to Miranda.
Okay, right. Give me your athletics or dodge roll.
86.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Your balls.
Over 80.
Yeah, so both of you failed, which means nothing really happens. I mean, he kind of slips up and so do you, but that kind of keeps you in the distance you were, in tandem as you were, and you do get to the door if you'd like to in the floor. You said you pass it to Miranda, or you wanted to throw it to Miranda? Go ahead and roll Dex times 5 for me, and let's see if you can get it over to Miranda.
77 over 50.
Oof. Big oof, huge oof. Okay, yeah, you.
At least Reed can make it out alive.
Yeah, there you go. We have Millstone leading the charge by himself. Yeah, you needed to get her attention before you tossed it, and you just couldn't walk and chew gum. You couldn't get through that trapdoor and shout well behind you and toss it, so you kind of just bumps against the floor and rolls in her direction, but it definitely does not make it to her. And her attention only goes to it once it's hit the floor and made the resounding thump. But you, however,
Shit. Fuck.
You also hear that. As you slip through that little door in the floor, and now we are at Miranda's turn. Miranda, yeah, the clown is peering at the canister and then at you. Would you like to try to pick it up?
Oh yeah, I'm getting that fucking canister. I'm out of here, man.
Getting it.
I'm getting it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Right.
What'd you-
Slide, scramble, almost on all fours, grabbing it up and trying to run and drink it. Not really even paying attention to where it's at in the cycle. Just trying to get a mouthful as best I can.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so you do pick it up. Tip, what I would normally say is on this, you get to either roll dodge or athletics and then do a thing. So normally what I would say is you roll dodge or athletics and then you pick it up. You can't drink it at the same time. If you would like, I would be down with you throwing caution to the wind. If you don't roll dodge or athletics, it's going to hit you. And by the fact that you picked up the canister, it's gotten closer. So really, either you make your luck roll and live, or you fail it and the clown touches you, if you'd like to do that.
I'll just make the luck roll. No problem.
Okay, great. I love that.
1.
Whoa.
Fuck.
Fucking
Yes.
Meant to be. All right.
That's
Let's go.
crazy.
You
Let's
touched
see
me.
how now you can
Let's see how the
add
sanity
1d6. You
That's
can
right.
add 1d6 to your willpower.
Yeah, or something. We'll talk about that. Don't worry. Yeah, go ahead and roll Sam. Let's see if good things or bad things or whatever happens.
72 over 49.
You, my friend, lose 1 sand. My D4 is being very, very nice to you and mean to me.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You in fact lose 1 sand, and yeah. And as you drink the patsu, you feel the clown's oversized, almost animated-looking gloves that screech through the air at your head. You feel a certain amount of calm, knowing that either it's over or it's over. And not that anyone's there to see it. You poof again into a very nice, fine red mist. I guess I didn't mention, if you would like to throw the bottle through the trapdoor, I am very, very into the idea of, I don't know, another luck roll.
Yeah, sure.
I love
Yeah,
that too, actually.
I'm in. Let's do it.
47.
Okay. All right. Great. Who has higher? I guess who has higher alertness of the two of you? I think that would be okay. You have like 1 million, right? You have like 80 or something like that, Meridian.
80,000.
Yeah. Okay, great. A 1 million. Okay, great. 1 million. You're great. You slip through that door, and as you do, and you almost hear the door closing behind you, you hear the sound of that canister ricocheting against the door, and you put your hands up for that ball, and it gets there. You, in fact, have balls. All right. Now we are in yet another place. Another terrible, terrible revelation. There's a door that flies open. Maybe you're in some kind of like viewing room. You're not in a theater necessarily, but you're in kind of a smaller black box, something that maybe film students would go to learn about theater, something that feels very, very, very fake, but also, as real as you would expect in a place where people learn things. You hear and you see a door flying open, and you appear to be in some kind of like basket or maybe on a catwalk. You're looking down at this large scape on this little small black box, and there's a workshop that's been kind of made out to look like, workshop, some set pieces, and this large bare light bulb swinging by itself, back and forth, the shadows. And there are these 2 figures that are struggling in the center of the room. Dr. Elias Barbas, he's got the red robes that he had worn. I don't think you ever saw him wear, but he did wear them, I promise you. I read the book. Torn and hanging from him, and he's fighting with this kind of very odd looking, meager, small man. Looks to be fierce, certainly, but unwell. Just so skinny and gaunt. They're both screaming words. And you realize that maybe they're saying J.C. Lins. Maybe they're saying the name J.C. Lins. And you realize you recognize that man, the skinnier man, is J.C. And then you realize that they're fighting over something. Elias Barbas or Marbas, perhaps, they're fighting over this weird thing. It looks like a cotton gin smashed into a typewriter at about 1,000 miles an hour. Flywheels and cogwork, just wrong angles. Barbas is reaching because Lins has gotten the upper position and is straddling Barbas now with the machine, the scribe. I'm comfortable saying it as such. Barbas reaches for Lins, almost in the last moment of asking and begging for mercy. A plea or a prayer, his mouth is open, and then Lins, with all the force that he has, brings the scribe down upon the head of Barbas. The sound is wet, final. The sound of like an egg breaking. Just the sound of a lock clicking open almost. The sound of something that can't be undone. It has been written in. Barbas immediately crumples. The top of the skull is caved in, and you see the breathing red liquid issue from the head of Barbas. Oily, wrong. Clearly it's Patsu, and just gallons. It's now gushing The scribe, is there in that pool. The gears are ticking and it's writing something down. JC looks up, and JC mouths some words. Merchant, you definitely know what the word is. It's in fact just one word. It's the same word that Bale said to you. You're sure of it. And then what follows? You gotta get my bottle. And unfortunately, because of the whole football catch through the trapdoor bullshit, Meridian does not have the time or energy to see or glance at what's being said. He probably hears and sees the bloodshed, or Patsu shed, but doesn't see that word enough to know what is being said. And now, then at that point, once that gets said aloud, the lights dim all the way, and now from behind you, the two black slits that maybe have something back there, they are issuing an odd form of anti-light. They're issuing this weird purple glow, and it's still advancing towards you. So go ahead and top of the round, so to speak. Merchant, you are up. Go ahead and make me an athletics or dodge, and then talk to me about what you want to do.
I can't believe what's actually happening here, but I rolled a 20.
Nice.
So under 30. So what that looks like, Merchant will look to Meridian and just say, I don't know if I get to leave. And jumps. And as he's jumping, screams, get his bottle! And lands as though he's done this a billion times.
Nice. Let's go now to Meridian. You focusing a lot on, again, the catching of the nice catching of the Patsu bottle, canister, tube. You now have a choice to make. You see the end of the catwalk. Do you want to try to drink the Patsu? Do something else? No, you're not drinking it? No way? Wow, okay. Wow, all right. Then roll athletics or dodge. What do you want to do? Anything else?
No. Well, I mean, I would throw it to Merchant if ever it's possible, but I guess we need to get down there first.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
45. 45 under 80.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. All right, I promise I'm not fucking taking this. It failed. He failed again. So maybe what we'll say for thematic effect, because we all want to hear that, the catwalk juts a little bit in an odd direction as some of the wiring has shifted. And as you glance up, you see these large sets of strings now. We're talking hundreds of strings that are attaching this catwalk to something. All right, yeah, you both jump into whatever reality, quote unquote reality, that appears next. And that for you is a nice landscape, actually. You stand at the edge of what appears to be an impossible expanse. You would probably call what's in front of you a lake, but it doesn't seem to fit that way. It certainly seems to be much more, to be a lake of clouds and water. There, in front of you are these beautiful creatures that kind of seem like whales, moving amongst the stratus and cumulonimbus clouds that I learned about as a homeschooled kid. There is definitely something about it that makes you feel peaceful and as if you are home here. And that it could certainly mean that someone you know is here with you. And about that thought, about the time that thought reaches you, you are able to look down and you see a woman. The back, of her head, you see she's got her hair in a high ponytail, and looks to be very calm, very regal, almost like this is her domain. Like she has lived and ruled here for as long as you will live. And you know that's Abigail. You know that's who she is at her core. You know that's who she is. And even though she wears an odd, almost like a masquerade outfit that seems to resemble a blue fox, maybe a rabbit or something, you know that it's her through that regalia, through her wearing that fancy kind of outfit. She's standing on the beach. She's looking out at the expanse that she feels as though perhaps she's in control over, that controls her. And as you hit the sand, jumping off of that catwalk, she turns to look at you and shares a glance with you, shares a stare with you that can only mean the deepest of gratitude. That can only mean that you are doing something you had to do, something difficult maybe, but she is thanking you for that. And, I would say that reassurances are not plentiful. You have all struggled with assurances and reassurances throughout your time in/with/on/whatever the king. But in this moment, you feel the deep and warm embrace of things being all right, at least for a moment, before you realize that, in fact, the displacement of sand and much loads of sand, that is likely the very, very large, I'll stop saying the number of meters, a very, very large clown has displaced that sand. In the moments that you feel the sand displacement and this thing dropped in behind you, this amalgamation of chaos and death, I guess, you also feel that Abigail Wright, she's taking some time now to, we'll call it an ad-lib. She's taking time because she realizes that perhaps things that are written down can be changed. And damn it if she won't try. And so you see the meeting almost of their will. The meeting of Abigail Wright turning to face this chaotic abomination. And she chooses in that moment to allow you both you and Merchant and Meridian, the chance at something you haven't had in a while. She's willing to thumb her nose at the king in yellow and allows you solace. Gives you a full moment in which both of you likely have time to share a few words and to share in a sip of everyone's favorite red liquid. So I assume you take advantage of that, and how so? Tell me about it.
Yeah. So Merchant, having caught the bottle or the canister, looks at Meridian. Meridian, I already told you, you don't have to punish yourself. I'm going to drink it, but only if you give me your word. Like you gave me your word at the bookstore that you will drink it when I give it to you.
Let's just get the fuck out of here.
Glug, glug, glug. Merchant takes a sip, his luck roll being a 19, under 50.
Nice. Yeah, and I wasn't even gonna have you make luck rolls, to be frank, but if you go for it, Charlie, let's see how it goes for you.
38.
Love to see it.
Sanity is 50 over 42, though.
Nice, classic. Yeah, classic. Good. Very good. Reliable old Merchant.
Hit him with a D4.
Mm-hmm. I succeeded every athletics roll at 30. I succeeded.
Yeah.
But ask me to do one sand check.
Okay, yeah. That you lose 3 sand for that failure, and what about Meridian?
80 over 55.
Yeah, okay, that'll do. You lose 2 sand. Both of you are taken together. Both of you, I think you know that. I think perhaps there is some contentment, some joy, some maybe a moment or two of feeling like you fucking won. That's all you really do know. Because for all of you, as you turn into a little more than a little red sneeze, you don't know where you're going. But maybe, just maybe it's better. I guess we'll find out next week. Wow. Crazy.
Unacceptable.
Crazy.
I demand to know now.
Where are we going?
We all made it.
Where are we going?
Fuck the Dorchester. Fuck the Dorchester and its ass.
Yep.
I'm done being there. So wherever it is, I'm okay with it.
Merchant with a 39 sand. I don't even know if he knows. Like, he could show up in his childhood home. He doesn't even know where he is anymore.
Nice.
I have so little sand.
Phenomenal. Don't worry.
This is only gonna mean good things for our interactions here on out.
It's only gonna get better / worse, so it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah. If I hit 0, do I just
piss your pants?
Try to kill
piss
everyone?
Your pants.
Yeah.
Yep. Right in the pants. Thank you everybody for watching. If you know a car, get married to it. And I think that's really all I have to say. Other than wait, we have Discord. We have Discord, right? Yeah, we do.
What?
You should join the Discord. If you're not,
newfangled thing called Discord.
If you're on the Discord, it has been a delight to interact with you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People become
You know who you are.
nice things about us. Yeah. That's very dope. We are all humans. We read
Say
that
mean
shit.
things about us.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I love interacting with it. It's been an absolute delight.
Normally we have to pay for that.
Bully Andy.
And as somebody who's just spent the last now year watching our mental creations slip further and further out of what we consider to be reality, we'd like to thank you for allowing us to be your mental creations. We don't exist. It's only you. And you're watching.
The Disney
But
Channel.
maybe someone's watching you.
Mhm.
It's the Disney Channel.
Nice.
Been the Disney Channel this whole time.
That's the real impossible.
The
landscape.
yellow sign is actually the Mouscatool.
Bam, bam, bam,
Oh,
bam.
wow.
Oh, it always has been.
Oh, okay, well, we'll use that Mouscatool next week. Goodbye.
I'll use my mouse tool right
Peace,
now.
y'all.
Hold on,
my
can't.
God.
You can.
Uh,
Before we sign off, I want to take a moment to talk about something very close to my heart. This podcast is about exploring darkness and fear, but in real life, those feelings can be overwhelming. I want to remind you that if you're feeling lost, lonely, or struggling, you don't have to face it alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. If you're in the U.S., you can call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, for free, confidential support 24/7. Wherever you are, there are resources and there is hope. You matter and your story matters.